another couple joining us, but we'll get started. At least make a beginning on this. And sorry about the mess up, Caitlin. Completely, I don't know. Timing is an issue. So we kind of messed up a little bit, but we tried. All right. So I'm going to go through the order we're going to do everything in, just so you guys know. What I would like you to do, if you have, well, I need your oven turned on to 450, because we're going to use that shortly. And then if you have two ovens, put the other one on 350. If not, we'll just turn it down and do that later. All right. What we're going to do, this is the order we're going to do stuff in. We're going to poach or start our pears poaching. Then we're going to prep the main course, the fish and all the filling, put all that together. Did everybody manage to get phyllo? Or somebody was asking me about, oh, good. Laurie, did you get phyllo? Yes, good. And then we will refrigerate that, and then we're going to start the salad. Oh, you got puff pastry. Okay, that's fine. I will tell you how to work with that, Caitlin. Little bit different as far as encasing it, all right? You're not going to be rolling over as many times as we are, because otherwise your puff pastry will be this thick, but I'll tell you in a second, all right? The salad, we're going to do the first part of the salad, then we're going to bake the beets and the carrots, and then we're going to prep the potatoes, just get them ready, put them in water, and then we're going to prep the asparagus and put it in the oven. Then the fish is going in the oven, cook the potatoes, make the ginger cream, and then finish the salad. All right. And obviously in between there'll be little bits like we'll take the pears out and stuff as we go along. As far as the pears go, if you have never poached fruit before, the biggest thing you have to be careful of is not getting your liquid too hot. All right. Because if the pears are too hot, if the liquid's too hot, you'll end up with pear jam. So you do want to peel your pears, and if you hopefully have a big enough, ideally if they can go in a single layer, but if not, as we're going to cook them in halves, if they are on top of each other, that is fine. Not a problem at all. So we're going to peel these. Dan, would you mind getting me a bottle of wine out of the fridge? I didn't get one bottle of wine. White. And then just halve them down the middle. And you want to scoop out the middle. Now, I'm going to use a spoon. Very often I use a melon baller, but if you use something round, it's a little easier to get the middle out. And just make sure you've got the bits off the end. Okay, so we're going to do that with, I've got more here than you, so I'll do it a little quicker because I say I'm feeding 5 people tonight, but I'll move ahead. Oh, no, I did that, I wasn't thinking. Your poaching liquid is your wine, vanilla, and sugar. And we are going to combine those in whatever cooking pot you're going to use. And we want to bring those up to a boil, then turn them down to a simmer, and basically just cook it until the sugar's all melted. All right, a bit of lemon juice in there as well. I can't get this out with this, I'll do it like this. Ooh, there we go. But I'm going to stop and start doing that while, so I've got this melting a bit and dissolving rather while we do, while I finish my pears. All right, so you have a cup of liquid. I'm going to use a slightly bigger pot. I'm going to use this one. So it's a cup of wine. As I say, I am doubling mine. And then you're going to do your sugar. Vanilla and a little bit of lemon juice. Lemon juice is there to stop your pears going brown. So I'm going to cut this lemon in half, get little seeds out the middle. And how much am I putting in? Just so you know, a teaspoon. Well, I'm going to put about 2 teaspoons in my, doesn't really matter how much you put in. It's there to say more to stop them going brown. Turning the stove on, make sure I got it right. Oh, there we go. Ooh. Let me move this over. There we go. And I put my sugar in. We're going to put a cover. All right, so 6 tablespoons of sugar, guys. So that will be just over 1/3 of a cup. For me, I am going to put 3/4 of a cup in because I've doubled it. All right. And as I say, just gentle heat, let it gently come to a boil. And you can also measure your vanilla in. I've got a little jam jar of vanilla. I brought it with me. I wasn't sure if my daughter-in-law was going to have any, so I brought this with me. If I can get the lid off. Oh my gosh, there we go. Your vanilla goes in as well. So this is the same way you do poached pears in red wine. If you were just going to serve them as they are and do them whole, just use the red wine. So let that melt and carry on with your pears. As there's only 2 of you guys, if you want to unmute yourselves, you're more than welcome to. And we can chat. There's only two sets of you. I'm quite happy to chat to you.
Okay.
So I feel like I'm on my own otherwise.
No, you're not on your own.
Oh, good.
Hey,
good,
we're
good.
unmuted.
Okay, good, good.
We already made each other's acquaintance, so we're all introduced.
Oh, good. I know. I do apologize. You could have had a party all on your own, right?
No problem. So is it a problem at all if I had sallied forth and I did my pears without taking the middle out?
Sorry, what did you do? You didn't take the middles out and did what?
I just have the pears, but I didn't take the middle out.
Well, you can take it out now.
Oh, I'm a few steps ahead. I went rogue like 30 minutes ago.
You went rogue. I don't know. No, it's fine.
I figured I could just take them out now.
Yeah, I'm just not coming to your house to eat. No kidding.
That's totally fine. No worries. They look delicious, so I'm excited to eat them all myself.
Oh, good, good. All right, so I need to take the one out of here. I've got a bit of red there from, oh, well, that's from, whoops. Yeah, this doesn't work as well as I usually use a melon baller, but as I'm not sure where the one is, I will just go with a spoon. Melon baller usually works pretty well. All right, there's one. There we go. All right, so yeah, so make sure your stuff's all melted. So was it Laurie, was it you said that you'd done your pears, or was it Caitlin?
Caitlin.
Oh, okay. So did you cook them nice low heat, I hope?
Yep, no bubbles, no bubbles.
Good job, good job. All right, so mine's pretty much melted, so I'm going to start popping these guys in. Thank you. One more to split. And the reason why you really want to use ripe pears is, believe it or not, they can take an hour and 20 minutes to cook sometimes. And also, if they're not very ripe, even when it takes forever to cook, and they still feel a bit firm. So if they're a little hard to peel because they're very soft, it'll actually be better in the long run. Now, I've managed to find this great pot that my daughter-in-law has, which looks like I'm going to be able to get mine in. But of course, I say I'm doing a couple more, but I've got one more pear to do, which I didn't realize. Do you mind? I'm using Dan as my commis de chef today. So the trick is really, you just really got to be patient with them. Don't turn it up. Just keep letting them cook. We've got plenty of time for those guys to cook, which is why I've done them early. So you just keep an eye on them. They want to be nice and soft. If your liquid doesn't completely cover, mine isn't, then I'm going to turn them like halfway through so they cook evenly on both sides. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, let me get rid of this. Give me 1 second. Yep. So have you guys had a good week? Looks like we're going to get more, be able to do more next week, right? Which is kind of good.
Except it's pouring rain here right now.
Oh, is it? Yeah, it was meant to be raining here, but it's not. Oh, well, I'm glad because I'm not there. That means my plants are okay. I was like, it was so hot when we left. I was like, oh no, all my new plantings are going to, I'm not very good with plants anyway. And I thought they're all going to be dead, you know, by the time I get back. So, thank you. Right, I've got my last one to go in. Ooh. Last one. Ooh, it's tough to get out. Get that off. I'm going to be playing catch up with you guys tonight, I think. There we go. Okay. I can just about get these in. Yeah. All right. All right. So really what you need to do, Laurie, is just check back every 10, 15 minutes and see how they are. Nice and uniformly soft. Turn them over if you need to. And then as soon as that's the case, we can take them out, put them in a serving bowl. And then what we will do at that point is we'll reduce the cooking liquid down until it's slightly syrupy. So I hope you didn't throw yours away, Caitlin.
Oh no, I knew better.
Good. I'm glad. I'm glad.
I'm having a little trouble judging the what counts as syrupy because everything just looks watery to me. So
yeah, well, it's basically a good indication that something's getting syrupy. It starts to get little bubbles on the surface.
Oh, okay.
And as those bubbles get smaller, it means it's more reduced, more viscous. So but you don't want to do it all the way. You want it to be so when you put it on your finger, it still sort of stays on your finger, you know, because basically what you want to pour it over the pear and it sort of sticks to the pear a little bit, which is kind of, you know, that's the idea. All right. So secondly, we are going to move on to our fish. Mine is all in the fridge. I have rather big pieces of salmon. I was a bit over generous when I bought these, but that's okay. But what we're going to do is we're going to marinate the fish for a little bit. All right, just a few minutes really. And you do want to marinate in something non-metal. It can be plastic, glass, ceramic, just not a metal bowl because you've got acid in the marinade. So you don't want to soak it in there. So for the marinade itself, we've got chives, oregano, olive oil, and parsley, or scallions, whichever you have. And that the acid here is actually coming from the olive oil. Okay, so that's what it's not as acidy as some things, but it is a little bit. Okay. So I have already rinsed my salmon earlier and it's fine. I'm just going to combine my marinade ingredients. So a little bit of oregano, somewhere here is oregano, there it is. And ideally fresh, but you can use other herbs with this. It doesn't really matter. Just oregano, it's a Greek dish originally with the phyllo and everything. So consequently, oregano, which is very popular in Greece, but you could do it with basil, you could do it with dill. That would probably be my second choice actually, because dill is wonderful with all fish, particularly salmon. But it's really, you know, it's up to you. You just want to have some nice herbs in there. You can even do it with like thyme or tarragon as well. You can tell this came out of my garden because I've still got a bit of roots still stuck on the bottom of that piece. I picked it up in a rush yesterday before we left. So you can take this and your parsley, and you can mince it all together, okay? Get rid of these bits. My parsley I did wash. I do need to wash this oregano a bit because it is still on the stems. Give it a quick dry. Remember, before you chop your herbs, make sure you dry them if you're going to wash them, because they tend to go mushy if you don't. And I did wash, the parsley has been washed, so I'm okay there. I'm just looking at my amounts because I'm multiplying this. So, oh yeah, okay. So you only want a teaspoon of each. I'm going to go with a little, obviously about a tablespoon of each for mine. So,
and where are you putting the marinade? Is all this stuff going in the glass bowl or in a different bowl?
no, in the glass bowl. Yeah, you can pop it in the glass bowl and just mix it together.
Okay.
With your oregano, your parsley, olive oil. All right. I feel I'm not quite so like this on this counter as that one at school. It's a bit high up, really. This is a little better. Just chop it. It doesn't have to be that small. It's a marinade. It doesn't really matter if it's not beautifully small, but you do want to mince it up a bit so that, you know, it distributes around the fish. Put that bit back in there because I need it later, I think, for something.
What do you recommend for those of us who are complete flavor cowards, like people who shy away from any flavor at all? Clearly we could do these with just a letter hand, but I don't happen to have oregano. I do have parsley flakes, so I was going to put some of those in.
Yeah, okay, that's all right. I'm going to be really rude to you and tell you that usually parsley flakes are a waste of time, but you can use them tonight.
Okay, no, that's rude, because that actually is encouraging to me. I don't want it to taste like parsley because I'm this weird person who will dislike it any flavor. So.
Oh, I see. All right, all right.
Flakes might work in my favor in this case.
Yes, they might. They might. You also, if you've got scallion or chives, whichever you have, you only need a little bit. As I say, I've got a big one here because I'm doing a little more, but I'm going to put in about a tablespoon. But you want about a teaspoon if you're doing 2 pieces. All right.
I've been told sometimes with scallions that it matters if I use the white or the green. Does it matter? Can I use the whole thing, or? You
can use the whole thing. There are occasionally it's the bottom's a bit stronger. So sometimes, like particularly some Oriental recipes, it will say just use the green part. Sometimes it's purely for look, you know, for aesthetics really. But yeah, I'm going to chuck a bit extra in mine, and then I'm going to do my olive oil. And again, the amounts for this aren't outrageously important. You know, it doesn't have to be exact. All right, let's see. I'm gonna go. Oh, I'm gonna guess because I haven't got a tablespoon measure here. That's good for me. And then just lay your fish in it, turn it over. Now, what I haven't done, I wasn't even thinking about this when I got this fish today. I thought I was cutting it. It does have the skin on. Have you got the skin on yours?
I took it off.
Good thing. Yes, better take the skin off. I wasn't thinking about that. Now, funnily enough, the skin's just peeling off like this. I was going to show you how to get the skin off. I'll show you with the next piece. Yeah, I'll show you this bit. Okay, way to take the skin off. Now this again, if you're doing a whole, which is what I should have done with the whole piece of salmon before I started, because I cut this in pieces. If you can get on a corner or at the edge, cut down through the flesh. All right, just in a little bit, and hold the skin with your towel or paper towel and make a little cut on the diagonal of this chopping board. It's very slippy. And then you basically, I'll get there in a second, this chopping board is slippery. You're basically going to push the salmon away from, pull the skin and push the knife away from you. Can you see that, guys? This chopping board's sort of a glass chopping board. It's a little strange. Just backwards and forwards like that, and that will make sure all the skin comes off. You just hold your knife at about a 45-degree angle, and then the skin will come off, okay? This one started to come off the other side, so I'm just going to pull this one off, but I'll do the other ones like that. But it's it's really, as I say, if you buy a bigger piece of salmon, do it with the whole salmon before you cut it, because it's much easier working with a big piece than it is with a small piece, okay? I'll show you again if you, Laura, you okay with this? Just like that, hold with your towel. There we go. I know, but I know that I don't want to use that though, because they haven't used it, I don't think, but thank you. Woo! There we go, that's it. 2, 3. All right, I'm just going to look at my pears, make sure I turn down a little bit more. I saw a bubble, one bubble. We don't want that, no bubbles. All right, now one more. All right, so our filling ingredients for this, we have onion. Now, you can either shred this with a grater, or if you want to just cut it very fine, that will be okay too. The shredding just means it's a little finer, but it's entirely up to you. If you haven't got your hand at a shredder right now, then you can just do that. All right, so make sure your fish is bathing in that. All right, I'll stick it right here, get rid of the skin, wipe my chopping board off. I'll tell you one thing, it's quite nice having the sink right next to me here. It's great, I like it. But I have quite as much washing up to do when I finish. Or Dan won't, I should say, right?
Yeah.
He's a good dishwasher. He's a good cook too. All right, so I've wiped that off, give my knife a wipe. All right, so I am going to finely chop my onion. As I said, if you want to grate it with a grater, you can do that.
Do you want to teach us again how to cut an onion? Or
I would love to. Yes, no, I'd love to. All right, so we have the root and the stem end. The stem end is the bit you want to cut off and then peel off all your dry stuff on the outside. Whoops. And then hold the stem end away from you.
I'm still
like this.
peeling.
Are you still peeling? Okay, I'll wait. I'm going to peel my other half because I'm using a bit more. Yeah, I want about half a cup, so I'm going to use both bits, I think. I'm just going to check my pears, see how they do. I'm going to turn mine over actually because
Okay.
didn't want too much liquid in there.
Ready?
Okay, all right, one sec. All right, okay. So, stem away from you, all right? Hold the stem end.
Got it. Ooh.
Take your knife about, I don't know, 1/4 inch away from that stem and cut straight down. The root rather, I mean, not the stem, I'm sorry, the root. And cut all the way down like that. Do point of knife down like that, all right? So you don't cut through the, root, and then go around the onion as close together as you can, 1/4 inch or less, down like that, following the contours of the onion as well. So you want to go round a bit so that you don't end up with side slices. And the same on the other side. And then it's nice and small. And then if you can, as we are looking for it to be nice and small, take the flat of your hand like this. Make sure you keep your fingers up.
Okay.
Put your hand on the top take the knife about halfway up the onion and push the knife gently back in about 3/4 of the way in. And pull it back out.
Aha.
It helps to make the pieces smaller and fall together. And then grasp it, like clawing it around like that. And then use your knife, cutting motion, sawing motion to cut through. All right, and you only need about a quarter of a cup, guys. I'm doing a bit more here. So, you know, half an onion is going to be more than enough, I would think. I'm going to do a tiny bit more of this other half, just a bit. All right, that's that. All right, so put your onion in the bowl, mixing bowl. And then we're going to do our leek. Now, again, with the leek, because you're only going to need a small amount, you can probably just use the top part and not go down too far. Don't throw the rest away though. Stick it in the fridge. It's great in soups or stews or stocks or something. Adds lots of really, really good flavor. All right. So you want about a half a cup, I think I've got here. Yes, half a cup. So I'm going to do this great big guy because I want a little bit more. But what you want to do is cut the outer leaf off. At least one, maybe two. Get rid of that. All right. It may be very dirty inside like this. That's okay. Don't worry about that. All right. We're not going to wash it now. We're going to wash it once we've cut it. Okay. So if this one doesn't have it on, but sometimes you have the root right here. If you do, just cut the root off. All right. Just straight down. And also because we are going to, we want to chop this up a bit. I want you to cut a piece. So guesstimate roughly how much you need of that. You need half a cup. So you probably want the first maybe 2 or 3 inches, something like that. All right. I'm going to cut a little bit lower down. And then I'm actually going to cut mine in half again to make it easier to cut up. All right. Now, but I know it's dirty and don't worry about it. It will be dirty. That's how the dirt gets in. So we're going to wash it well once we've cut it up. So take your piece and cut it in half. And then I'm going to take that outer leaf off actually. I don't like it, it's a bit heavy. And then to get it nice and small, cut your leek lengthwise into fairly narrow strips. Okay. Whoops. And if it falls over, just have to hold it between your fingers. Just like that. I'm going to do my other half because I need the other half as well. Oops. Leeks are a very underutilized vegetable in this country. Back in the old country, they get used a lot more. It was also a cheap meal when I was in college. We used to make a cheese sauce to go with them and have them just, that used to be dinner. I used to love it. So once I'm going to do one batch at a time. Have it lengthwise facing you. Grab it like you did before to hold it together. And then cut through it in small pieces. This one's quite tough, so I'm going to have to. Again, we want little pieces. Remember, this is going in the stuffing, and we don't want big chunky pieces. So you want to have about half a cup. Get some end pieces, cut those off. And what we're going to do before we put it in there is we're going to wash it. Sorry, nearly forgot. Once you've chopped it, if you've got a strainer, sieve or something, pop it in the strainer because we need to wash it really, really well, okay? You guys are so quiet. Busy working.
Focus. Deeply focused.
So put it under your faucet. Give it a really good wash, because there's nothing worse than a piece of grit or dirt.
In your salmon.
Yeah, sand, yeah, or whatever it is. It ain't nice. We don't want it. And just let that drain for a minute. I'll put it in a second once it's drained a little bit more. Just wipe my workstation down here a bit. Maybe some of that stuff. Now, also, I would suggest you wipe off your chopping board, because you may have bits of grit on there as well. Okay, right, I'm going to check my pears again, see how they're doing. Almost, not quite, almost there. All right, how are we doing? We all done our leeks?
Very close. Just the last couple cuts.
All right. And spinach, where did I put my spinach? Here it is. Now with your spinach, I am actually going to, I'm going to drain my spinach a bit, because I let it sit and defrost, which is what I wanted, but it's a little wet. So I'm going to let that drain a little bit, just to get some of that water out there. So I'll leave that for a minute while I put the other, give it a quick press, get some of that moisture out of it, because it does. Press it down into your strainer and let it sit for a bit to get some of that moisture out of there, because it is obviously very wet. Olive oil. So you can put your olive oil in too. So 1.5 tablespoons. I'm looking for another tablespoon measure. All right, I'm going to guess. There's about 2, maybe about 4. There we go. And what else we put in our Parmesan cheese? Okay. So I have the Parmesan cheese is going to go in as well. Just your 1 little teaspoon of Parmesan cheese. And some fresh dill. And this wants to be chopped up as well. Just take the main parts off, get rid of the big stems in the middle, and then you want to just mince it up. Right, I'm going to go with, again, I'm using a bit more, but you want about 1.5, 2 tablespoons, something like that, okay? And we are going to mince this as well. Take any big bits of stem out that come loose or whatever. Has anyone ever tried to grow dill? I did once. Oh, it was like doing really good and then it fried. So I gave up in the end. All right, so that's going to go in as well. Pardon? All right, I'm squeezing my spinach in the bottom of my strainer. Leave that for a minute to see what else I got to put in. All right, the salt. Oh, this hasn't been opened. This one, let's open it. Grab this, didn't realize it wasn't open. There we go. Dry my hands. There's a towel around somewhere. Oh well, never mind. Trying to find a towel, hand towel. Huh? Is there one? Oh, great. That one? That'll do. Yeah, I got one. All right, so bit of salt and pepper. Oh, wrong way. And a bit of pepper. And then your feta, okay? So about 3 tablespoons of feta. And the breadcrumbs are there to dry the mixture out a little bit. So I'm gonna put, there we go. And then what did I do with my breadcrumbs? Oh, here they are. And your breadcrumbs. And then your spinach. So actually I am going to, if your spinach is still really wet after it's drained, put it in a piece of paper towel, which will help you get even more of the moisture out, okay? Because you really don't, I know it's very wet and you really don't want all that moisture in there. So you can do it in a clean towel as well, but give it a good squeeze. My gosh, look how much is coming out. I've got a lot here, of course. Give it a good old squeeze. I'm gonna say that, and the breadcrumbs will help to absorb that. And then we're gonna mix it all together. Grab another spoon. I can use this one. So let's make sure I've got everything in here. So
does it matter if my spinach is actually not frozen?
Still frozen. Do you want to shove it in the microwave?
No, it wasn't frozen.
It's fresh. Oh, that's okay.
I didn't have frozen. I only had fresh.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. What I suggest you do probably would be a good thing would be to wilt it in a little bit, either in a pot or hot water. Bring some water, and just wilt it in hot water for a minute or 2. It'll just make it easier to incorporate it. So have I got everything on here? Yes. Onion, leek, spinach, parmesan, egg. Oh, egg would help. I forgot about my egg. So now your recipe says half an egg. Just mix it up, pour half of it in, and then see if it's if it's binding together. If it isn't, put a bit more in, all right? I'm gonna mix mine in a little bowl. And see if this one is gonna be enough for my double recipe. I'm gonna mix this a little bit first. So it's just a bit like when you're making, when you're making hamburgers, sort of. I got a lot of filling here, but never mind, that's all right. So, always good to mix it up first anyway, whether you're using the whole or the half, because you want it to blend properly. You don't want it to be like bits of whole egg in there, all right? So, you can do it with a spoon, you can do it with your hands if you want. It's entirely up to you. Stick the oil back, tiny bit more in there. Stick the eggs back out the way. All right, I'm going to give it a stir now with my hands just to make sure. So it should be sort of sticking together in your hand like that, just so that when we put it on top of the fish, it doesn't all fall off, okay? All right, so that we're putting to one side for a minute. Give my hands a quick wash. And when you've done that, if you want to melt your butter, you can do it in the microwave, you can do it on top of the stove. It's entirely up to you. I'm just going to put it in a little bowl and do it in the microwave, I think. I'll be right back. Caitlin, you're really probably gonna, well, I suppose you can use your butter a bit, but you're not gonna use as much as we are because you don't need it for what you're gonna do with yours, okay? With your pastry, and I'll tell you what that is in a sec. Okay, I'm gonna wipe my board off. You can do this on the counter or you can do it on your chopping board. It's up to you. If you do it on the chopping board or the counter, it needs to be dry, all right, with either the puff pastry or pastry. Now, Caitlin, with your puff pastry, basically what you want to do, we're going to do like parcels of with yours, all right? So you want to cut,
Gaynor, I have puff pastry too. I didn't realize. So
shame on you guys. Okay, well that's okay. Well, it's all right. So this is going to be a little bit different then. I'm going to tell you guys what to do, and I'll show you what I'm doing with the phyllo. So you want to look at, I don't know what size your salmon is. If your pieces are really long like mine, you may want to cut those in half to put this together. It's entirely up to you. If it's a shorter piece and fatter piece like this, you may want to keep it in one piece. All right. Now, so you need to take your puff pastry, put some flour on your chopping board or on your work surface because you want to make sure it doesn't stick. And then what have you got, like 2 pieces in a box, 2 sheets in a box? That's usually how it comes. Let me have a look, see what you've got, Laurie.
I just had 1 5-ounce-ish piece long. Oh, you mean
okay,
you mean the pastries?
Okay. So what you're so what you're going to do, you want pieces of puff pastry about double a rectangle, double the size. Yeah, I know, double the size of your piece of fish. So let me show you, I'll show you with a piece of paper what I mean. Okay, so this is my piece of paper. We're going to make a parcel with your fish in, okay? And how we're going to do that is you're going to put your piece of fish here, and we're going to put the topping on, and then we're going to fold this over, and we're going to seal it with the tines of a fork.
okay, easy.
All right. Now, so you want your piece of puff pastry that size. So as I said, you could take, if it's a bigger piece like this, you could cut it in half and put one behind each other or overlap a little bit, either way. All right. What you will need to seal it, I strongly recommend, is a little bit of, if you've got some of that egg left, or another egg, because you want to use a little bit of egg to brush around the sides before you seal it together. Okay. So that's your job's actually easier than mine. So I will show you, what you're going to do, you're going to take your piece of puff pastry, you're going to put your salmon on, sprinkle it with a bit of lemon juice, a little bit of salt and pepper, and then you're going to take a portion, so for you guys, you've done a single recipe, half of your filling, and you're going to put it on top of the salmon. Just rest it on top of the salmon, and then fold. So you need enough dough to fold over so that you can seal it all the way around, okay? I will show you with a phyllo. It's a little trickier. I tried to make those instructions clear with a phyllo. It is very difficult to explain to people what that means because it's not terribly intuitive, really, as to what we do. Whoops. I'm going to get my butter.
What's the ratio, like what percentage of the filling is spinach? Because I feel like I'm having trouble gauging if I've got too much spinach or the right amount. I got a 5-ounce bucket and I tried to take like half of it, but.
Yes, did you simmer it?
It looks like I have filling is no spinach and everything. I need more spinach.
It's really about, let me see what the ratio is in here when I look at it. Again, this is 2.5. I would say if you've got a 5-ounce bag, then probably about a third of that will be enough. Roughly. It isn't, you know, it isn't terribly important because it's not flavor wise. Yeah. I'm going to show you with these guys how to, have any of you worked with phyllo before? This very thin stuff. Now I am changing, well, my phyllo is smaller than the stuff I normally get. Normally my sheets of phyllo are much bigger than this. So I'm going to sort of play with the idea a little bit because I'm going to adjust it because of the fact it's different shape. But you may see in the directions, it says like take a sheet of phyllo, cut it in half, then make it into pieces. Well, basically the purpose of that is just to add like a padding, which you don't need to do with the puff pastry, okay? So I'm going to do this with a couple of these. It's just as an extra layer because of the amount of moisture that's in the phyllo, okay? So I'm going to make a little, like a little nappy, little diaper I'm making for the for each thing of phyllo, okay? So I'm gonna, this will make me 4, I think. And again, you guys do not need to do this because your puff pastry will be sufficient to stop that from happening. All right, so this is why I'm making these little fold over things that are gonna go in the under the dough. I'm gonna turn this over because it's a bit funny. All right, so I will show you how we do this. What I am going to try and look for is a pastry brush and see if I have one. If I don't, I'm going to have to improvise, but that's okay. Pastry brush, pastry brush. Nope. All right, no pastry brush. Let me have a look down here. Oh, found one. Not really, it's more like a thing for the, what's it? Okay, so this is how we do this. Taking one sheet of phyllo, not that piece was broken off. Sometimes your phyllo is a bit broken or something. Your sheet of phyllo, okay? And I'm gonna lay it, and don't worry if it's broken. You lay it out like this. You're gonna take melted butter. This is when I tell you got the easier part. You butter it all over. All right? And then you take a second sheet and you lay it on top of the first one. And you do the same again. Butter generously all over. This is the way you do with any phyllo dish. You always use butter to moisten it because it's very dry, and this helps it to get nice and brown when it cooks, and it looks nice and everything else. All right, now I'm going to take my first piece of fish. I'm going to lay it, because I'm going to roll this, I'm putting it in a little bit like that. All right, I'm going to give it a squeeze of lemon on the top and a little bit of salt. And then some of my filling. Now, if you have too much filling left over, you can always use it for something else. Don't pack it too much, but it wants to just sort of cover the top of your fish like that. All right. Then what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to bring this up and over like this. I'll take a little bit of butter on either side there, and I'm going to fold the sides up a little bit. And I'm going to do that like that. Again, you can't have too much butter with this. So we're going to butter there, butter there, butter there, and then I'm going to roll it. Now, the reason you do this with the phyllo is so that you have multiple layers. Otherwise, you're going to have one layer of phyllo, and it's going to be awful, and it's all going to melt and dribble all over the place. All right. But that's why you don't want to do it with the puff pastry, because with the puff pastry, you're going to have really, really way too thick. And then you want to put it on your cookie sheet. All right. How are we doing? I think my pears are done. Let me have a look. Don't forget your pears. Yes, my pears are done. So I am going to scoop my pears out, and I'm going to put them.
Just to recap.
Sorry? I'm going to put them on a
I just
serving.
wanted to make sure. I thought you had said because.
You thought I said what? I'm sorry.
Oh, I apologize. There's just a delay. For puff pastry, am I using butter or no? I'm not using butter.
No,
correct?
no, because there's plenty of butter in there. You just want the egg to bind it together, to stick it together. Yeah, there's enough butter in that puff pastry for it to give us all heart failure. I shouldn't say that.
Good. Good. Wonderful.
So my pears, and we want these chilled, so we're going to put these in the fridge. There we go. I'm going to pop those in the fridge, and I'm going to reduce my cooking liquid down. Turn the heat up a bit and reduce the cooking liquid down. All right. Turn the heat up. Just be careful you don't evaporate this all together. You know, you want it to be thick. You don't want to evaporate all together. All right, guys, I'm going to carry on until you tell me you're finished, and then I will stop and I'll finish my extra ones later because it's probably going to take me a bit longer. So when you're
Okay.
when you're done, just let me know. All right. Oh, have you got any other questions
Here's
with
what
that?
I got.
Sorry.
I have my puff pastry on my board. I
Right.
have my piece of fish that's been marinated and my topping, and then I've folded my puff pastry over to hide him. And then I'm going to use
Right.
the egg to seal it like an envelope.
Yes, and then if you've got a lot of extra puff pastry, cut some of it off before you seal it. You know, if it's too much, you want it to seal, but you don't want like 3 inches of puff pastry either side.
No, yeah, I'll trim the extra.
Yeah, yeah. And then when you're finished, brush the top with a little bit of egg too. All right.
Got it. Now, what can I use my extra pieces of puff pastry for?
You can make cheese straws with them, or
Okay.
yeah, they're good for cheese straws. Or you can also make, you roll them out, you can put like sugar all over them, fold it in half, and then roll it tight, and you can make like an not elephant ears. What are they called? Oh, they're called palmiers in French cooking, but I can never think what they're called in. They're elephant ears, but they're not really elephant ears because they shouldn't be that big. We make like little tiny cookies. You cut them, roll it up, and then cut it like on the cross, you know. So they look like little spirals. All right, I'm doing my second one here with my little parcel underneath. Okay. Woo. And bring my pastry up and over, give it a squash. Ooh. Ah, this pastry is brand new, this pastry. I bought it today, but the problem is with phyllo, sometimes it's not stored properly in the supermarket. They let it partially defrost, I think, and if that happens, it's really fragile. So you're probably better off with the regular pastry, because I'm getting a bit of a problem going on over here. Got a bit of leakage. Never mind. Where did I put my, oh, there it is.
I've
Yeah, definitely got.
mysteriously lost the other half of my egg, so I'm just gonna wander around looking for it for a minute. Oh,
I did that, so. Huh?
I put it in the fridge.
Oh, well, of course you did, yes.
Now, if I don't have a pastry brush, should I just use my finger?
Yeah, you can use your finger. You can even use like a piece of paper towel, like folded up, you know, rolled up like to make it look a bit like a brush kind of thing. You can do that too. All right.
And do I need to score it like I would the iron?
No, don't score it. No, just seal it with the you know, with a fork. Press it down with a fork. I'm determined not to let that disappear. I have a feeling it might. I'm just going to do that. Piece of fish. Right, now this piece of fish of mine is really long, so I'm actually going to cut it because I have the same issue that this phyllo is not my usual width phyllo. I'm going to kind of put it next to it like that, and then put my filling on the top. Move it in a bit. Ugh, sorry, you get stuff all over your hands every time. Keep washing your hands off. All right, so I'm going to fold this up, over. This phyllo is very fragile, much more fragile than it is normally. Ah, I may end up wrapping this one in another piece. Dear me. Don't know why it's that fragile. It shouldn't be. Not the usual brand I buy, but there you go. It's all very so fragile. So I'm just gonna. The nice thing about this is that you can just add extra sheets to it, put it in, roll it up, and it still looks good. Even if it doesn't look, if it looks like this, which is a bit of a mess, really. But that's not too good. That one. I don't know why, but there you go. These are huge. So how are you guys doing? I'm going to melt a wee bit more butter. Getting a little.
We're doing great. I had to put you on mute because we set off our smoke detector twice.
Oh, funny, funny.
Yeah.
This is so funny. All right, I'm just going to melt myself a little bit more butter. And I think my syrup's getting there, looking good. I got the sweetest tiny potatoes. Look at these. They're absolutely minute. Little teeny ones. All right, I'm waiting for my butter to melt. I'm messy here, I've got stuff all over the place. We'll need that later. All right, my liquid is probably about half of what it was. So it wants to go down a little bit more. All right, let me get my butter. Yes, I think I should have used puff pastry too. This has got to be the worst phyllo I've used in ages. Never mind. Kids, I do things with kids with phyllo dough. They make like phyllo triangles. They love it. They think it's so cool. And I tell adults that when adults are intimidated by it, so I do it with 5-year-olds. All right. So.
Okay, I think I'm all done with my salmon prep.
Good. All right, well, let me just, I've got 2 more, but let me just do this one. And then I'm going to put a little bit more thing underneath it. And then I will finish the last one in a little bit. I got a little bit of time. Cut that, put that on there, put that here. Stuffing on the top. Not very elegantly. Oh, I need to squeeze a lemon. Ooh. There we go, bit of salt. I need some pepper. I have no idea, it might be some out there. Woo! Slippery hand now, I can't flip in. Twist the. All right, so, all right, I'll do this one and then I'll finish the last one a bit later. When we've got a minute for something else. So bring the sides in, sides in, sides in. Oh, this one's a bit better. Slightly, I don't know. It's puff pastry. This pastry is not great. Never mind. Okay, I will do the last one a little bit later. I'm just going to cover this over because it does tend to get dry very quickly, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to cover it over here, and I'll finish the last bit in a minute. All right, so put your put your salmon in the fridge. So this one, Philo's terrible. Because we want it to chill before we bake it, whatever we cook it in. All right. Okay. Just going to wipe my counter down because I've got a big mess, lots of grease, lots of butter. All right, so we are going to move on. Moving on apace. All right, so we are going to start the beets and the carrots. So you want to get a pot big enough to hold your carrots that you're going to cook. Fill it about 2/3 with water and put some salt in. All right, maybe a bit over half with water actually, and bring it to a boil. Don't forget your salt, very important. The salt cellar is so slippery. It's got greasy. All right, I'm going to show. So my mixture got really tight little bubbles. This is for my pears. So I'm going to let it cool for a little bit and I'm going to pour it over my pears in a minute, okay? Now, what you can do for speed sake, if you want to do 2 pots of water, and we'll do, we can do the carrots and the beets in 2 separate pots. You can do that too. I know, Laurie, you've only got carrots, but maybe, Caitlin, if you want to do that, do 2 pots of water and then we can cook them both at the same time.
I think I bought cooked beets actually.
Oh, you did? Oh, well, then you don't need to do that then. That's great. So I'm going to go with a slightly bigger pot for my beets. Yeah, I thought I was going to have to buy cooked beets today because I couldn't see them. Then suddenly I spied them across a crowded room or something. Ooh, God, I've got to work hard to get this sorted out. God, building my muscles up here, girls. There we go. Huh?
Burning the calories off before you eat them all.
Exactly. So what we are going to do, so we are partially cooking our carrots and our beets. Let me just get to the right page here. Okay, I'll do about this cumin in a second. So these are going in a large pot of water for about a minute, then we're going to drain them. And then the beets are also going in, if you're doing them, for about 20 minutes, all right? So I will probably put those in first. As you guys don't have beets, no big deal, all right? I've got little ones here. I've got 6 small ones because I'm doubling the recipe, but they are tiny. So I'm going to give you the quick rinse. As soon as your carrot water comes to a boil, put your carrots in. If you've got baby ones, leave them for 1 minute and then drain them out, okay? And Caitlin, you can go ahead and prep your beets. I mean, if they're already cooked, they're fully cooked, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then we will. You can put them in a bowl with a little bit of oil, just a drizzle of oil, and then put them on one side of a cookie sheet, and they can be waiting to go into the oven when the carrots are done. All right.
Should they be sliced or just left as they are?
They could be sliced. What I think I say in the recipe, like do them. I'm just reading here. In wedges. So just cut them in like wedges.
Okay.
You feel confident to do this or not? Maybe not. Right. Huh? Yeah. It's not easy to do because it's right. You got that? I'm giving Dan my other parcel to make. I'll let him mess it up like I did. There you go. And so what's happening, we're going to do this, and then our veggies, to give them like a little extra, they're going to roast in the oven, okay? Now, you're going to do, if you were doing both things, we're going to do them half and half because we don't want the beets to bleed into the carrots. You guys don't have that problem because you're not using them. So that's right. And Laura, yours will, sorry, Caitlin, yours might a little bit. Now with cumin, we are going to toast the cumin. All right. No rush to do this, but we're going to toast the cumin in a small skillet. I guess we're not doing it on this burner. It doesn't want to cook. All right, I'll do the back one. There we go. So medium-high heat on your skillet. Just measure your cumin. Again, doesn't have to be absolutely exact. You want about 1/4 teaspoon, so it's like nothing. I'm going to do a bit more, obviously, because I'm doing a bit more than a thing. But I'm going to do about half. And we just want to toast a little bit. Now we want to crush them. You could say, well, why don't we use the crushed one, cumin powder? Different sort of taste, really. It's got a slightly nuttier taste like this. So you can either do it in a food processor. If you don't, and you're only doing a small amount. So what I suggest you guys do is take a baggie of some sort. And if you have either a rolling pin or a meat pounder, and I've got a huge bag here, that's the only ones I can find. You're going to put it in here and then bash it with your meat pounder. All right. If you have a mortar and pestle, that works really well as well. All right, the mortar and pestle is very good because you can grind it. You can grind it down. Oh, this water comes to a boil quickly. That's great. All right, so I'm going to put my carrots in. I'm doing a double batch, and get them all in. There we go. And I'm going to stick my timer on my phone for 1 minute. So about a minute, doesn't have to be absolutely exact, but I might as well set the timer. There we go. And I'm going to clean out my strainer. These new things I bought for my these little things around my ears are much better for the older earbuds. It works a bit better with those wrapped around. It was hopeless the other way. Couldn't do it at all. So our I don't know whether you guys managed to get sherry wine vinegar, but you can use red wine vinegar as well instead if you want. I did not bring sherry down with me and I couldn't get any in the store today. So I am going to use red wine vinegar too. So our dressing is going to be our cumin, which we're going to, after we've toasted, punch it up, lemon juice, vinegar, and Dijon mustard. And that's just going to be combined together. And then we're going to add olive oil to it and then some chopped up mint. All right. Okay. Mine are toasted. They should just slightly change color. And there we go. And they should smell. Oops. Stop. Oh, great. Can't do things with 2 hands. There we go. I think I've turned it off. Yeah, so they just have a nice smell. All right. So I am going to put them, let them cool for a second, actually. I just have to check something. Let's just pop that back on there. Let them cool for a second before you put them in the bag. So in a bowl, you can put the other ingredients for the vinaigrette while you're waiting for those to cool. Your Dijon mustard. That's the first thing that comes to hand for me. So I'm going to use, what is it, 1/2 teaspoon. So I'm going to use 1.5 because I'm going to add a bit more. I've made quite a lot of this. And then red wine vinegar or your sherry vinegar, whichever you have. And I just squeeze past here 1 second. I'm going to grab something. There we go. So red wine vinegar in. or your sherry vinegar, whatever it is. Okay. Lemon juice. About a teaspoon of lemon juice. As I say, I'm making a little bit more. I've got flipping seeds in here as well. I'm going to have to pick the seeds out. And I'm going to mix that together. Probably with my little whisk, actually. And then I'm going to put my cumin seeds in my baggie, preferably without melting in the bag. And then, to say, I've got this huge bag, which is silly, but what I'm going to do, just pop them on the counter, all right? Make sure you don't use the ridge bit of your meat pounder you're going to use. It's all rolling. If you use rolling pin, it's different. And just like that, pound them. Oh, smells wonderful. Smells really good. Come on. All right, and then mix that together and just stick it to one side. That's a dressing. Perfect. All right, anyone have a problem with that? Are we good? All right, my beet water's boiling. Yes. All right, so I'm going to put my beets in for about 20 minutes. I'm actually going to cut this big one in half because it is a little bigger than the others and it'll take longer to cook, so I'm going to cut it like that. All right. I've got more beets here than I need, really. Clean up my mess a bit. Did yours turn out better than mine? Probably. Oh, right. Oh, okay. Yeah, actually, I'll throw that bit. I might keep it just to make sure any of those need rewrapping. Mint. All right. See, there's something we hadn't put in. With that, and I didn't put my olive oil in, did I? I tell you, I'm losing it, guys. Losing it. Mint. I didn't chop my mint up. So with your mint, you want to chop it up as well. Wash it if it needs washing. And then mince it up. I'll grab my chopping board back. Now you do want to make sure that when you do this, that you do a nice fine. I think I haven't got enough vinaigrette there. A nice fine mince because it's going in your dressing, and you don't want big bits floating around in there. All right. This is out of my garden. I may not be able to grow much, but I can grow mint. I think anybody can grow mint. It's stopping it growing is the issue, isn't it? I think. Not growing it. Right, I need to drain my carrots. Woo, this is hot. There we go.
And you said the carrots were just in the boiling water for just a minute, right?
Yes, yes. Because they want to still be a little bit crunchy. There we go. All right, so mint in your dressing. How much mint we must be putting in? I can't remember. Teaspoon, all right. Tablespoons, I'm doing 3. And then you want to put your oil in, okay? So, without throwing the lid on the floor. You want to whisk your oil in, and we're doing, you guys will be doing a couple of tablespoons plus 2 teaspoons. I will be doing a little bit more. So do a couple at a time, do like one at a time rather, I'm sorry. Whisk it in and add a bit more. And you can also make sure you want to season it. No, what are you doing? My son is crawling around on the floor finding me pepper. you. All right, that looks a bit more like a dressing. If you let this sit, guys, it is going to separate a little bit. We'll separate out. Don't worry about it. Just mix it back together. Give it a taste. Yep, needs a little twizzle of salt. Oh my gosh, this thing is hard. I didn't realize I had a salad spice thing there. Got a whole spice thing here, and I didn't even know it was here. Okay, so dressing done. All right. Once your carrots are drained, I'm going to put them in a bowl with a little bit of I don't know where it is. With a little bit of oil. Oops. There we go. Just a bit of oil, not too much. All right.
Is it okay if I use the oil left over from the marinade?
Yeah, no, that's
fine.
fine.
Can I use the oil left over from the marinade?
Yeah, sure. Why not? And then put them on one end. I mean, I know you're only doing carrots, so you can put them all over, but I'm just going to put mine on one end like that. And then I'm going to do my beets a bit later. These, now you guys can go ahead and do this if you want, because you're not waiting for beets. And Caitlin, you can put you want to cut your beets up and put them on the other end.
Okay.
And then they are going to go in the oven for about 15 minutes, all right? In your 450 oven, okay?
Gotcha.
Thank you. All right, let me clean up a bit. Messy person that I am. All right, wrong. Oh, the wine. Pardon? Oh, I know. No, this is off the wine. Which I might have a wee glass of in a minute. There you go. You want to find us a glass? Ask Andy. Go around and ask Andy. It's time for wine, I think. Don't you think, guys? Always time for wine. This is becoming a regular thing with you guys, right? Caitlin, is this the second one you've done or the third one? Second one?
This is the second couples night.
Yes, yes. Did you do the Mummy and Me?
I tried to do the
Mother's Day
Eve, but I showed up very late, so I only got.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you helping me get into terms with doing all this, because it's it's interesting.
Well, I'm spoiled because I've always wanted to do a couples class, but my partner isn't a kitchen person at all. So in this case, I get to learn and he gets to eat, and we're both very happy.
Oh, perfect. It could become a regular thing then, right?
I hope so.
Yeah. All right. So next thing is I must say prepare our potatoes, but basically if you want to you want to chop up your stuff for your potatoes. And did I just use all my dill in that thing? I did, didn't I?
Oh,
okay.
No.
It's all right. I thought, oh, I'll just use all this dill. I'll use it all up.
Yes, you will.
Silly to keep it. So I have a bit of oregano left, I think. So I may just end up using parsley. Oh, actually, no, I bought basil today by mistake. So I'll use some basil. But whatever herb you're using, use that. Chop it all up. And then your potatoes, we just want to get them ready in a pot of water. And it will be cold salted water for the potatoes. Okay, guys?
Gotcha.
So they're just going to go. I just thought we'd have them ready and have our, your mint or whatever. I used all my mint for all my dill for my other thing. Stupidly, yes. Yes, root vegetables go in cold water. All right, so we can throw those little babies in. Ooh, these are so cute. Look how small they are. They're minute, little teeny things. I love them. Thank you. I have a wine glass with my first initial and my last initial on because they're my sons. They got me as a wedding present.
Oh, nice.
And I never had anything so posh. They've got a whole lot. They've got like, you know, tumblers and everything, all with the nice sort of letter G on it. It's nice. Cheers.
Leaving.
All right, so I'm going to chop. I'm going to put these on the stove. I'm going to put salt in your potatoes now, so you don't forget. Oh my God, I tell you, I'm going to see if there's more salt in here because getting wearing my arms out doing. Oh, I found regular salt. Thank God. Put a bit more in there. Heck of a lot easier pouring it out here than doing. All right, so I'm going to sit this over here and I'm going to chop up my herbs. Let's see what I've got here. Yeah, that's mint. So I'll do the basil I bought, which is somewhere around there. It is. So again, any herbs, whatever takes your fancy, is nice. And I think the only thing we need is a little bit of butter. I think just like around, ready nearby, ready for us to put on them after we've cooked them. All right. So chop your herbs up. Just stick them in a little bowl if you've got one, or stick them to one side or something. How are we doing for time? Oh, not too bad. Seemed like we were running a bit late just now, but I think we're okay. We got nowhere else to be, right, guys?
Nope, this is Friday night.
All right, so that is my herbs ready for that. Move this stuff out the way. All right. My beets are taking a while, but they shouldn't. My beets shouldn't take maybe quite as long as I anticipated because they are quite small. So they do seem to be cooking fairly well. So that's great. All right, let's see where we're at. What we're going to do next. Okay, we're going to prepare our asparagus. All right. So for this, you do need a pot that will hold the asparagus. Don't use aluminum. All right, because aluminum will make the asparagus taste funny. I'm going to actually use the same pot I used just now, but I'm going to pour my syrup. I don't know if you guys can see this, but my syrup it definitely looks syrupy.
Okay,
It's
great.
not so that's what you're kind of looking for. And it should just taste really good. So, oops. Okay, I'm going to turn these over. Oh, I've got a little bit of, still got a little bit of, what's in that one? So I'm going to put these face down because they look nicer that way. I didn't get the thing out. They just look prettier that way. One that got a little overcooked there, a little soft. That's okay. There we go. And then I'm just going to pour the syrup over the top. Excuse me. And then pop them back in the fridge. Thank you. Grab my asparagus out of there. There we go. All right, so with your asparagus, guys, you want to make sure they're going to fit in your pot. I don't have a problem with this one because it's nice and big. But if you're just using a regular pot and you're a bit limited for space, you may need to trim them a little bit more. All right. Just going to give this a quick wash. It's nice having the sink right here. So basically what's happening, we're going to blanch these, part cook them, and then they're going to go in a container with the cheese and everything else on the top. All right. So you want enough water in here that's going to cover the asparagus, and then you want to cut about an inch off the bottom, regardless. As I say, if you need to cut them a bit shorter because of the size of the pot you're using, then by all means do that. But if you don't have to, again, boiling salted water, okay? I feel like a worn out record. And of course, asparagus is nice this time of year. It's one of those things, thinner the better. Skinnier the better is good for asparagus. So just really want to, the whole thing of doing this is rubbish, because look what happens. That's all you get left with. No, you just do it where it breaks. No, because you'd have nothing, you'll be spending all that money on asparagus and nothing left. Now this one, particular piece here, is rather white a long way up, which means it's a bit woody. So I'm cutting that bit a little bit shorter, but the rest of them, I'm going to just cut an inch off the bottom, all right, while I'm bringing my water to a boil. There we go. You'll like, my husband doesn't like asparagus very much, but he'll like this because it's got cheese on it. Anything with cheese is fine. Oops. Oh, I've got a really skinny one there. Okay. Throw these away. So I'm just going to look at my beets and see how they're doing. Hopefully they are fairly soft. No, not quite. Only a couple of them seem to be, but the others don't. All right, no rush. So just to go over this asparagus recipe, folks. So they're going to go in simmering salted water, cook until they're just tender, about 5 minutes, maybe only 4 minutes with these, if they're skinny. Mine are pretty skinny. If yours are bigger, they may take a bit longer. Basically what you're looking for, they should, you put them in, if you pull them out, they're like this, they're not done. If they're just going like this, slight tilt like that, they're done, all right? If they're like this, they're overcooked, okay? And you don't want that to happen. What happened to Laurie? Did we lose Laurie? Did she lose internet or something?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't been paying attention.
Yeah, I just noticed that the picture's not up there. What does that say? Today, oh, that's just saying about the meeting. Huh. Oh, well, maybe she had to just switch it off for a minute. Maybe they lost a bit of internet or something. So, and then we're going to drain them, put them in an oven-proof container. They don't need to be in a single layer, all right? So I think I'm probably going to do mine in this little loaf pan. You could do them in a gratin dish or something. It's really up to you, all right? And then on top of that, we're going to combine the milk, the cheese, the egg white, and the salt together, all right? So again, I have doubled this recipe, but you basically want half an egg yolk and half an egg, actually. Half an egg and then half a white, all right? So just to confuse the heck out of you. So half a whole egg and half an egg white. And I'm doing, what am I doing? One of each. Yes, something like that. Yeah, I wonder where.
So wait,
Yeah.
Does that mean I could do a whole egg minus half the yolk?
Yes.
Okay.
It's just really to bind it. It's really kind of, again, it just gives it a, kind of binds it together. Right. And I mean, we've got Parmesan in this recipe. You could use any cheese. You could use Gruyere, you know, a nice cheddar cheese, whatever you like. Oh, there she is. Is she back? Oh, there you are. We thought we lost you.
Hi, we're back. We lost you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wonder where you've gone.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought you didn't love me anymore.
We jumped in the car to find you in Birmingham.
There's
I was like, no, they've left me. I'm sad. All right, we just started doing when did we lose you? Had you got your asparagus on yet, or your water on for that? So you should have your water on for your asparagus with salt in.
Okay.
Trim your asparagus, and then we're going to mix the from the milk down together in a small bowl. So you want half a whole egg and then half an egg white, or thereabouts.
Okay.
Half an egg white is a tablespoon of egg white, guys. Milk. Ooh. Right. We're back. She's back. Oh, I see. Okay, I wondered if that was what you were doing. All right, I had a measuring. How'd I put it? A measuring cup earlier. What did I do with it? Oh well, I'll use this one. It's fine. All right, so I'm going to mix my milk in. As I say, I'm doing a double, so I've got a cup of milk. My Parmesan cheese. A little bit of salt. What happens here is that egg will help to set the gratin-y stuff on the top. All right. No, dropped a piece of parsley in there. Just mix this together. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. Hard part is over.
The reward will be worth it.
Oh, I'm sure it will. Right, I need a bit more cheese in mine. Taste it. I know it's raw egg, but it won't kill you. If it's not cheesy enough, add a bit more cheese. You can sprinkle cheese on the top at the end, but you know, when we put it at the end, when we put it together, if you want. But I'm just gonna do that. All right. Yep. All right. See if my water's boiling. Almost. You do want to make sure your water's boiling. Check my beets again. I think my beets are, they're still taking a while. Yeah, that's not doing great. We'll be waiting for our, oh, there's I found my measuring cup. Tell you, anything is in the kitchen. So, again, the asparagus we're going to put in for 5 minutes. We don't want to lose track of that because we really don't want to overcook them. And then what else do we have to do? All right, we are going to put the fish in the oven, which we will do in a minute. We're going to put the asparagus and the fish in the oven at the same time. Have you guys got your carrots in the oven, right? Yes? Good. Caitlin, got your carrots in the oven? She can't hear me. All right, my asparagus water is boiling. I am going to put these in and check them. For your fish, have you got 2 ovens? Because you want a 350 for your fish and 450 for your carrots and beets. So if you haven't got, have you got 2?
So
Laurie, have you got 2 ovens, Laurie?
Yes.
Oh, great. So one at 450, one at 350. Your carrots and beets your carrots are going to go into the 450 and your fish will go into the 350. What about you, Caitlin? Have you got 2? Caitlin.
Tell me
Sorry.
again.
Do you have 2 ovens?
I'm here.
Yeah, do you have 2 ovens? Can you hear me?
She locked up.
One
Ah.
oven. Just one.
Just one. All right, then. You want to put your carrots and your beets in. Have you got your carrots and your beets in?
I just pulled them out
You just pulled them out.
of the oven
Okay,
where they
great.
were
Then
for
so,
15 minutes.
perfect. Then just put your oven down to 350 now and leave it for a few minutes. Then we'll put the other stuff, put the other things in. All right. Put your what's it in?
Thank
Your
you.
fish. All right. Okay. I think my beets are going to be done enough, whether they want to be or not. I think they're good.
I have a
I'm gonna-
question for you about the potatoes. How long do I cook the potatoes for?
Okay. Have you started cooking them?
I just put them in. I quartered them, so that's the size.
Okay. Well, really, you're just going to cook them till they're soft, which I know sounds rather what's name, but yeah, just until they're tender. All right.
Okay.
What am I doing? Wrong one. Yeah, just till they're tender.
Okay.
Oh, I could dye clothes with this beet juice. All right, I'm going to strain my beets. I'm actually going to spray a bit of water on these because I want to cut them and they're hot. So. If we help, I spray them with cold water. It works better usually. There we go. Let those drain for a sec. Whoops. Okay, so I have to peel my beets because there are skins on them. I had a small knife just now. What do I do with it? So I'm just going to peel my. You do have to peel these beets off. Gosh, these are hot. Get a paper towel. Woo! My beets are hot. I wish I bought pre-cooked ones now, Caitlin. Ah! Woo!
I'll lend you some of mine. I got plenty.
You know, I think I'm going to cook these with the skins on. I'm going to take the skins off when they're done because they're very hot. Probably works better anyway. All right, so I'm going to put those in a bowl with a tiny bit of oil. Yeah, I can skin them when they come out. If I remember. Hopefully I will. I have lots of beets. I guess I'm going to be peeing red tomorrow. Oops. Ow! They're hot. Look at me old asparagus. Don't want it to wilt too much. All right. All right, I'm going to take these out. My asparagus is done, so I want to drain those first. Yeah, I'd rather your asparagus came out underdone than overdone because there's nothing worse than overdone asparagus. Drain those for a second. Gonna put my potatoes on, I think so. Like that. All right. Oops. All right, I'm gonna stick my guys in the oven. Oh well, hopefully that's right. Okay. All right. So with the asparagus, you want to I'm going to put it in here into my serving or my cooking vessel here, and I'm going to put the oil on it in here. All right. It's not ideal, but it's close enough, I think, for what we're going to do. So I'm going to a little bit of oil on there. Woo! A little bit, last of it. And just toss it around a little bit. This one. All right, and then I'm going to pour on, I'm going to give it a quick whisk again just to make sure it's all mixed together. Pour this on the top. Okay. Push it down. Try and get it sort of at least, not fully submerged, but at least, you know, make sure there's no bits really sticking up. And then this is going to go in your 350 oven, and you can put your salmon in at the same time. All right. All right, let me look at this. Oops. Now I am just going to melt this. I'm going to rub a little. What I'd like you to guys is to brush the top of yours with beaten egg before you put it in the oven. All right, I'm just going to melt my. The purpose of that butter on the top is for, sorry, the egg on the top for you guys is to make it go brown, or to help it go brown. I'm actually going to wrap this one with a little bit more pastry. This one's exploding a bit, so I'm going to give it a little bit more pastry. But yes, and as far as a glaze, you can use a whole egg, egg yolk, or just milk. You can even use as well for your glaze. Yeah, this was not the greatest phyllo dough I've ever had in the world, but there you go. We'll make it work. Just never let the phyllo dough get the better of you. Always be the boss. That's my motto in life. Because it always looks beautiful when it comes out anyway. All right, so I'm going to pop these in the oven. And if you haven't already, put your potatoes on. Let's turn that up a bit. There we go. Okay. What a horrible mess. Okay. The only thing we have to do, two things to do. We'll finish the salad when that stuff comes out, which basically means you're just going to toss your vegetables with your dressing. All right. And then you can refrigerate it, or you can eat it warm. It can be like a warm salad. The only thing we've got to do is our ginger cream, all right, which we can do while our veggies and things are cooking. For this, I hope you managed to get fresh ginger, because it's kind of important. I better wash my chopping board again, otherwise I'm going to have, everything's going to be beet colored. Ginger is great with peaches. Well, it's good with lots of fruit, but it's particularly good with peaches. So it's kind of nice that we're going to make a ginger cream with this. All right. So you want to you're going to peel your ginger, I should say. Best way to peel your ginger is with a spoon. Use this one. Again, I'm making a little bit more than you. You only need about 1.5 tablespoons of ginger, okay? And We're going to mince it. You can mince it or finely chop it. It's up to you. But the best way to peel it is literally with the edge of a spoon. Sorry, with a spoon, like this. And that will pull the skin off. It's not like peeling a potato. Ginger skin is very easy to get off, okay? So it's all clean like that. Get it off the little nodule bits as well. You can even cut those little bits off if you've got them on there. Ooh, gosh, ginger oil in your eyes, not so good. Kind of hurts a bit. I was trying to decide whether I'm going to use a microplane for this or what. I haven't decided yet. See how this works. Oops. I'm using a microplane. Use the fine side of a grater if you're using a grater, all right? You want it nice and, sorry, yes. Yeah. Pardon? What did you say?
I actually cut it into pieces and then I cut it into pieces and put it through like it was garlic.
Okay. That's okay. Yeah, that's fine. I just saw my daughter-in-law had this microplane. I thought, oh, great, use that. Basically, we're going to cook this. We're going to cook this with some sugar and some water, all right? Ooh. So you want about 1.5 tablespoons, guys. I'm going to go with the rest of this because I want to make a bit more. Now, my potatoes are going to take like no time to cook at all because they're really tiny. If yours aren't quite so small, they're going to take a bit longer. Just cook them till they're tender, all right? Woo. Muscles are getting a workout tonight. Ah. I should have done this ahead of time, right? Woohoo! Well, what else are we going to do? We just got to wait for that stuff to cook, so. So when you've done this, you want to combine it with the sugar and the water in a small pot. And just let the syrup, sorry, let the sugar dissolve and then let it get sort of syrupy, about 5 minutes, then we want to cool it. What I suggest you do to cool it so we can speed this up is if you can get a bowl with a bit of ice and then we can put it in a smaller bowl over the ice and then it'll cool it because obviously we don't want to put the hot stuff into the cream, or you can wait and just finish this later. It's up to you. Whew. Get more out of here. It's not for the faint-hearted. I think that's it. Whew. All right, got a small pot.
Is there
Sorry.
you like to use?
I'm sorry, is there what?
I have a microplaner, but I've never used one. Is there anything I should know about using it?
Is it a really fine? Is it really fine one like this? There are different ones.
A microplane.
No, let me see it. Show me your microplane. Yeah, it's just like a, oh yeah, that's the same as this. Yeah, so just use that, just rub it under, just keep your fingers out of the way because they're flipping sharp. But no, that's perfect. That's exactly what I've got here.
All right.
Work those muscles. Woo! They are great things, microplanes, so they're wonderful. Mine are different shapes for this. They come in more like a sort of spatula shape as well, which I have. Yay, got to the end. All right, so in here, I'm putting water. I'm putting 3/4 cup of water because I'm making a bit more. What's it? All right, 3/4 cup of water I'm putting in because I'm doing a triple batch. Woo. Put in my ginger, and then I've got to have my sugar. All right, so sugar I'm putting in at 2½ teaspoons, so just under a tablespoon. That's it. Oh, and I do apologize. In the recipe, I hope you guys have noticed this. It says 1½ tablespoons of minced peeled garlic. Is that what yours says? Instead of ginger. Oh, must have been on another planet when I wrote that. All right, so high heat, melt the sugar, let the mixture get syrupy, and then we're going to cool it over some ice. All right. Okay. Organized, whatever. Yeah. Just watch this, that if you're doing it over fairly high heat, just be careful that it's not sticking or getting too hot. So with your cream, you want to mix your cream. I'm going to use a hand mixer for this. You can use a KitchenAid if you want to. That's a bit big really for a small amount of cream, but it's entirely up to you what you use. But you can mix this now to stiff peaks, and then once that ginger mixture has chilled, we can add it to it. Okay, so I'm going to do 1½ cups, as I did 3 times everything else. See, I've got a mixture. I've got Giant Eagle, and then I've got Publix. We're covering all the states here with our cream. Woo! Hope my kids are hungry by the time we finish. I'm sure they're absolutely starving. There we go. My daughter-in-law said, she doesn't know I'll still be up. I might be in bed having the newborn. I think she's ready for bed. All right, I think that's my pinger for my veggies. I'm just going to check and see how they're doing. Oh, another minute. Yeah, a couple more minutes. Okay, so as I say, I'm using the small hand mixer that my daughter-in-law has. You can use any sort of electric hand mixer. You can do it by hand too if you want to. Of course, I can get the darn thing together, it would help. There we go. Obviously, you want to do it in a fairly deep bowl so it doesn't go all over the place. I did plug it in. Oh, no, I didn't. Yeah, plugging it in usually works much better. Oh, this is a very high-tech one. It's got different speeds and everything. I like that. Woo! It's way more high-tech than my one like this. So it's a nice stiff peak, and then you can put this in the fridge while the other stuff cools if you want to. think I hear my pinger going for my veggies, so let me just go grab those. So those are my carrots and my beets, okay? So I'm going to stick to one side over here. This is a great little beater. It's wonderful. And they feel it. Wow, did a great job. All right, so I am going to put the cream in the fridge, and I'm going to add my woo. Okay, you may get a little bit like sort of the crystal mixing on the outside, but let it reduce down a fair amount because you'll get more strength, more strength of flavor if you let it reduce down like that. Okay, so the only other things we have to do, we've got to get the fish out in a second, but with your carrot stroke beets, it is quite a good idea to mix them with the vinaigrette while they're still warm, and then you can refrigerate them because the vinaigrette will be absorbed into the vegetable a little bit more. I am going to do mine in this bowl. I have to remember I've got to peel my my beets. I didn't peel them. I don't want to put the skins in. So I'm gonna put the carrots in. I need a slightly different bowl. Let me see if I can find another bowl to put these in. I just want to mix them up a little bit. There we go. All right. So I'm gonna mix my carrots. If you've got both, mix your carrots with the dressing first, and then your beets. If you've only got the carrots, you can put them all in together. So when I talk about syrupy again, we want this ginger mixture to be syrupy, so thickened. Mine's almost there, so it wants to look sort of just thicker, like it's holding its form for a split second before it falls when you tip the plate. So we'll drop the carrot on the floor. All right, so I'm going to put half of, I'm going to whisk my dressing together a bit more. Put half my dressing on here. Toss those around. Put those in my serving bowl. I'm actually going to hand these off to Dan and let him peel them. I'll give you a little knife. All right, just if you can just peel the skins off them, thank you. You may want to get here. Let me give you a fork. If they are hot like that, using a fork is quite a good idea to hold them with a fork. And then you're going to push them in around, put dressing on them and push them in around your carrots. Extra thing, you could put salad greens in underneath if you wanted to. Okay, I believe my potatoes are done. They look like they are. Probably more than done, actually. Yes, they're perfect. So I'm going to drain those. Sorry? Yes. Thank you. Oop. So I drain my potatoes. Those are so cute, those potatoes. They're lovely. I'm going to find a bowl to put them in. What am I going to put them in? This will do. And then I'm going to put them in the bowl. Turn the gas off first. Okay. Just before I do that, this is that's how much of my water and ginger I have left, all right? It's kind of thick and syrupy, so I'm gonna let that cool. As I say, if you want to put it over ice now and then mix it into your cream now, or you can just let it chill, and then when you're ready to eat your dessert, do it then. It's entirely up to you. Okay, so my potatoes, just going in my little serving bowl with, for me, my basil, for you, your dill. And obviously butter. All right, so you can put some butter in with it, 2 or 3 tablespoons. It's entirely up to you how much you put in. I stepped on my squash carrot. Yeah, so let me just grab a knife again. There we go. How are we doing for time? Oh, not bad. I thought we were going to run way over. We didn't do too badly. So I just put my little piles of butter in there like that, ready for, and let those mix in. And then I think we're good. I'm going to put a little bit more dressing on there in a minute. All right. Any questions at the moment, guys? Let's see how what's going on with my bottom oven here.
What's
All
our
right.
What's our fish supposed to look like?
It should be golden brown. Mine's not looking that way. It's probably another 10 minutes or so, I think, guys.
Okay.
It should just be nice and golden brown on the outside, and yeah, mine, I'll show you what mine looks like right now in case you guys want to go. It's kind of set. You can't really see, actually. It's set up, but it's not brown yet. It probably needs another 5 or 6 minutes. And what you're looking for is that your asparagus, that mixture should be set. Let me see. Yeah, another, another couple of minutes, I think.
Yeah,
yes, that looks
more
perfect.
white than golden.
Yes, more golden. Your asparagus looks great. Mine is a little thicker, so it's taking a bit longer, okay? Because I've got it I hadn't got a gratin to put it in. So that looks really good. Looks great. How is your, Laurie, and how's your fish?
How's the fish? No.
It's fantastic. I did a couple of pieces minus the phyllo dough too, just to have some options. But the phyllo dough
Right.
for the puff pastry one is still in the oven.
So,
Okay. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so what other questions do we have? As we're pretty much finished, I don't want to keep you too long. I know you want to eat.
When we do the, when I do with my ginger syrup that I'm going to put in my cream,
Yes.
I've still got a lot of little pieces of ginger in
That's
the
fine.
Yep. So I can just fold that all in together.
Yes,
I don't have
yes.
to like.
Or if you'd rather, you can drain it out. It's up to you. You can strain it out. But yeah, just fold it in. But make sure it's nice and cold before you fold it in, and then you'll just serve it like a big dollop of it on top of your pears. All right. And then yeah, and I can't think of anything else, but
well, thank you for a wonderful evening.
You're welcome, guys. Thank you so much. You don't know how much I appreciate all this. It's really great that you're joining us, and
Absolutely.
hopefully one day we can talk your relevant other into joining us at the school one day.
I believe there will come a day. He just likes his own recipes. He's set in his ways. He does the same thing every time. He loves to experiment with eating, but he knows what he likes to cook. So I'll keep selling.
I know. Guys are like, They're like, yes, you too. Take care. Thank you so much. I appreciate it for being patient.
Enjoy your family.
Bye, guys. All right. Lovely to see you. Yes, I will. And I'll talk to you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye.